Rockingham Speedway first opened its doors in 1965. Since then, it has had a very long and decorated history. Throughout the 2000s and the 2010s, it's had something of a bit of a struggled history and a bit of an uncertain future. But with renovations currently underway, there is no doubt that perhaps one day we may once again see NASCAR grace these hallowed grounds. For now, though, as we get set to go racing through Thunder Alley, we will welcome the OMSRL Truck Series, as Iverson has done a phenomenal job to, in the meantime, preserve this great racetrack, and we'll continue our North Carolina swing. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Nola Rempel, and I'm bringing you all the action from start to finish here tonight. It is going to be a long and a hard-fought race here in this one, as you have got 26 trucks all qualified and ready to go. Back to some good old racing action from the Rock, a track that has seen so much in the way of history over the last over its many years and its many decade lifespan. We'll look at the points coming down over into today's race with Holden McGill and Grant Peterson confirmed down and out. That means that the top 10 now separated by less than 10 points. Spencer A., Sean Kaiser, Robert Peterson, and Ryan Dingler all sit at the top And you can see those top four separated by a mere 7 points. The points battle has closed right in, and it is going to no doubt be a hard-fought drive for everybody to see who will come out on top at season's end. There's a lot to play for a lot of drivers, and I have a feeling we are in for an absolutely fantastic show here tonight. Qualifying, as I mentioned, is currently underway. Brandon Cluj, one of those trucks, working his way around the racetrack, coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4 this time by. Cluj will put himself across the start-finish line, and he will go to the end of his second lap, puts himself into the number 4 spot. Matt Cherry will do the same, and he is looking to put himself as of present up there and in towards 6th. We'll ride aboard the Thunder Thrower as he takes you for a lap around the Rockingham Speedway. And at the end of his lap, Thrower will put himself to that number 13 spot on the grid. So that's a pretty good drive for the racer out of Zebulon, North Carolina, as we will be looking set to go to green flag race before too long. 60 seconds currently remain in this qualifying effort that we've got over here from the Rock, as looking like all bar 5 drivers have opted to put down lap times. And as I say that, Justin Wilson making his way onto the racetrack, as this 09 Chevy Silverado will try to put himself in with a good lap around the Rockingham Speedway. Firing out of turn numbers 3 and 4 to start off his first lap. And he might only have time for one, if that. It's going to be real close. 15 seconds left, and the fastest lap was a 24-second time. 10 seconds on the docket, still has to work into turn numbers 3 and 4, and he is not going to be able to make it back. A good effort, but all for naught, as Justin Wilson will find himself starting way down in 25th place as we get set to close things out. Qualifying is complete. Let's take a rundown of your official starting grid as we will go racing for 125 laps in Thunder Rally. Starting out the pole position, then you're going to have the likes of Spencer Ray for All-American Motorsports alongside Gage Teff. Starting beside him, you'll have the likes of Nathan Schifflet and Brandon Cluj. Sean Kaiser, Matt Cherry, will start on row number 3. Zachary Kreischer and Jacob Noyes on row 4. Bear Morton and Ryan Dingler round out the top 10. Steph Russell and Nathaniel Ames back on row 6. Hunter Thrower, Maxwell Kroll on row 7. Keith Hanlon and Noah Swafford on row 8. Addison Brown and Daniel Half will be on row number 9. Rounding out the top 20, it'll be Brett Vandehey and Brett Rucker. Those are the last 2 drivers to put down qualifying laps. From there, you'll have Robert Peterson, Noah Rainwater, Jason Layton, Justin Wilson, and Austin McColgan, who will bring up the tail end of this field. Just waiting now on the last few drivers to grid on up before we will get racing action officially underway. Noah Rainwater reporting that he had some troubles on both of his qualifying laps, which is why we see him starting so far down the field. It was mentioned by Jacob Noyes a little while before this race that it is a very, very slippery racetrack out there at the moment, and the heat is not going to be helping with that at all. 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 123 down on the track. So as always, the OMSRL Truck Series really putting in the hot track temps and setting some record highs over the last while. I believe last week's race was a good 131, if I'm remembering that correctly. So it is it's a hot day, at least on the racetrack, and you know that a lot of these trucks will definitely be struggling for grip. It's a very, very bumpy racing surface, and it is not a racing surface that likes it when you overdrive things, so who knows what's going to take place at this point in time. Austin McColgan, the lone driver, not to put it on the start of the grid. He will be starting this race from pit road, and Jacob Noyes will be the same. Noyes just barely missing the call, so he is going to be down and out, which is a huge shame for the number 3 Inconsistency Racing Chevy Silverado. Pace truck will work its way in towards turns 1 and 2, and we will look set to kick off racing action here before too long. I tell you what, I can't wait to get this race underway. I mean, Rockingham is such an absolutely phenomenal racetrack. It is, it's a challenging racetrack, right? It's a driver's racetrack, and it's one that has been loved by many a race fan and many a race car driver. The long-term plans for the renovations of this facility include bringing both NASCAR and ARCA back to these walls. But for now, we'll make do with the virtual trucks as the pace truck will dive into pit road, this time by. We're happy that you joined us here on Tuesday night as we go racing at the Rock. Oh, in trouble already. Tail end of the field as two trucks slide into the infield. Brett Vanderhay and Addison Brown getting punted around, but no caution will keep things green up the road. Single file, Gage Taft rocketing away from this field. Spencer Ray in hot pursuit. Side by side for third on back as this field thunders down to the front straightaway. Big trouble though for a few drivers in the early goings here, and that is not ideal to put him mildly. Cluj into the outside wall. I think that was Kreischer that got on the outside wall as well. As a lot of folks making a mess of this race here early on. Take a look back at what happened to Brett Vanderhay and Addison Brown. Oh, the 12 of Brown just got loose and came across the nose of Vanderhay, and they both went into the inside fence right by pit road. Here you see Gage Taft working down the front straightaway with the rest of the pack just behind him. Already that number 33 truck working up towards the outside lane. Check back in on some of the other single file battles. Hunter Thrower already up 7 positions in just 4 laps. He's gotten a huge jump on this field into the number 6 spot after starting down in 13th. He will continue to work the front straightaway. Now looks for the inside on the 15 to Nathan Shiflett. 83 gets down low, and Shiflett will track out of turn 2 down the backstretch to 3. Thrower still keeping his nose on the inside line. And how about that? We might see that 15 car pull clear. In fact, he will. Shiflett getting clear for the 5th spot. Further behind, Keith Handlin trying to keep Stefan Purcell at bay as this is another pair dog fighting down the back straightaway. But a good chunk of this field starting to separate pretty early on. As Addison Brown to be put down a lap, the driver of the 12 with that early lap 1 mess is now being swarmed. Still have this fierce battle for the 5th spot. Thrower takes it to the inside of Shiflett, and now Cherry trying to get in the mix. Bear Morton sits just behind. Oh, pushing up from the bottom lane. There's Cherry nearly putting Shiflett into the outside wall, but still that 15 truck able to pull around and get clear. Other battles down the field as Addison Brown getting in the way. Robert Peterson cutting top to bottom, trying to set up an over-under on Noah Swafford. Careens into turn 1, and Swafford way up by the wall. He'll pull from the outside, and looking like Daniel Half will get around Brett Rucker as well. Cherry now under pressure by Barrett Morton just behind. already 10 laps in, 11 laps in, and making good time, although we are down 2. Addison Brown, of course, the lone driver that sits 1 lap down. Sean Kaiser as well came into pit road on just the first lap of this race, and Kaiser making an early exit from the night as he opted that he wanted to go for that starting part, just get the points and move on with his day. The Rock's not for everyone. It's a commanding racetrack that demands absolute peak concentration. Some drivers aren't able to weather that pressure. Brandon Kluge trying to duke it out with Ryan Dingler. This is for 3rd. As Dingler takes it down low, Kluge trying to hang on for the top shelf. We've already seen that outside lane, though, has been strong tonight. And Kluge going to make good work of that as well. Watch Dingler push back into the inside. But then look at how good of a drive Kluge is going to get coming off a 2 here. Oh, he won't. Instead, he'll clip the outside wall. And that hands the 3rd spot over to the number 23. So the Hanks Armor Tundra charging to the point. While the rest of the pack starting to sort itself. Noah Rainwater further towards the tail end of the pack here. He's running in 16th spot at the moment. Wrecked both his qualifying laps and now just trying to keep that Mobil 1 Silverado moving forward. Kind of right now trying to get around Maxwell Kroll in the WWE Silverado as the 26 going to jump down low. Daniel Haff looking to follow suit. With that little bit of hesitation coming off in turn 4 could cost Swafford big time as Haff tries sides of the pass. Haff is in too deep, and he'll almost go into the outside wall as well. Further up the road, still got that battle for 5th developing between Hunter Thrower, Nathan Shiflett, and Matt Cherry. Trying to duke it out amongst each other as they thunder into turns 3 and 4 off of Thunder Alley, and then towards the back, Kreischer getting around Nathaniel Ames as Ames is going to lose out 2. Keith handled the first driver to set him a pass at the 28, and in fact, he clipped the wall coming out of turn number 2 and nearly turned himself off the nose of 55. That easily could have been a big wreck into the inside wall. And now the fight for 6th. Thrower around the top as the 15 is Shiflett trying to keep it pinned on the bottom. Thrower cut off on the top side. Trying to do everything he can to make a move. Here's Hunter Thrower going to send that one in deep, looking to drive round the top shelf. And he'll lose out to Matt Cherry. Good solid effort there from Hunter Thrower, but no dice, no cigar. Thrower still up on the top, trying to get around the outside line of Aaron Morton. You see that 9 truck right there, pinned on the bottom. And the Spear Crest Digital Silverado washes up in turn 1, nearly wipes out Hunter Thrower. And the yellow flag will fly for the first time, and it's for Austin McColgan. Sideways on the back straightaway. So our first yellow flag bout comes to a close as the 51 truck will bring it to a stop on the backstretch. HTEF having some connection issues up the road, but he will be a race leader, and I believe that puts Addison Brown as the lucky dog. Take a look back on what happened to Austin McColgan, as this is going to come out of turn 2 to the back straightaway in the 51. I'm willing to bet slapped the outside wall. Yep, nicked it there, and that unsettled the truck, slid down, and that's a hard hit into the inside fence. Drags the brake and will bring that truck to a stop, and that is what forces our first yellow flag of the night. Pit stops underway. Brandon Kluge, Thrower, Morton, Kreischer, Ames, Purcell, Noise, and more all into the lane. About half the field coming down on just the 21st lap. Gage Taft still your leader. Top 11 staying out. Jacob Noyes overshot his box. He's going to be in that pit stall for a long time. Brandon Kluge gets out first. Stefan Purcell racing Nathaniel Ames, and there is your race off of pit road. Kluge picks up 11th, or 12th, excuse me. Take a ride on board with McColgan as he made his way to the back straightaway. He just catched that wall, and it's kind of like Dover. Not a lot of places to hide from a wreck at the Rock. And that puts us under caution flag number 1 of the night. We're going to take a jump back. We'll be back with the green flag in just a few moments. You're watching the OMSRL Truck Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. We are lights out with 1 degree. Gage Taft, the race leader, has opted for the outside lane on the restart. Still battling those technical gremlins, but he'll line it up to the outside of Spencer Ray, and we will see if that 33 truck could make anything out of this field as we'll work into turns 3 and 4. It's a pretty action-packed first salvo of laps for the first 20, and we'll see if the next 20 will be just so, and perhaps we'll get a longer green flag run in as well. Race truck going to make that dive into pit road, and Teff looking to launch to the restart zone from the outside. We're back to green. Round the top of the 33 as Ray gonna hop down to the bottom side. And Gage Temp will win out in that initial battle for the race lead. No restart problems this time though. As we work out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Side by side for 4. Cherry and Shiflet going at it. And Cherry makes that pretty easy pass. And how about this? Ray back down to the inside. As he's trying to challenge for the lead here early on. I think learned his lesson about hanging around and waiting earlier on. Ray's a driver that has had quite a bit of success here at Rockingham in the past. Finishing on the podium several times, won the LTAC race here a while back. And is now looking to go for victory lane in the trucks as well. Ray going to continue the battle down to the bottom as he'll try to poke around. Gage Taft lunges down low. That's going to drag Ryan Dingler into the fray. First lead change of the night officially as Ray leads lap 27, and he'll pull clear with the race lead. Dingler will slide into second as well. Oh, into the outside wall goes Brandon Kluge. Noah Rainwater scrambling as well. And we nearly had caution 2 on the back stretch. Rainwater now with damage on the right front, losing time. Handlin drives by around the top. And Morton going to try to make short work as well. Handlin now clips the wall, 3 wide. Down the back straightaway, contact. And Morton slides around. Wrangles the 9 back underneath him, and Morton goes 2 for 2. Jumping back up front to Nathan Shiflett, Brandon Kluge, and Robert Peterson. Working through 1 and 2, and Kluge will pick up 2 spots. Brandon Kluge with the freshest tires on the racetrack. Took 4 on the last one of pit stops. Stefan Purcell and Nathaniel Ames, the lone drivers that came down under that yellow flag. They that took fuel only. Everyone else was with 4. As that 69 truck continued his crusade up through the field, punches his ticket back into the top 5 as he works into 4th. Right now, you've got yourself 4 drivers within the top 10 that came down under that last yellow flag period, and one of them is Kluge. Quickly closes in on the head of the field as he picks off Taft. Matt Cherry, another one of those drivers trying to lunge the inside as Taft started to get a bit of a cue from behind him. Cherry, Morton, and Thrower, and Morton's done waiting. He's going to shoot to the inside. Morton, like Kluge, on fresh Goodyears. Oh, and hard into the outside wall goes Matt Cherry. Pancakes it with the right-hand side. Scratches up that 45 truck, but will try to keep with it. Up the road, the battle for 3rd still raging strong, and Brandon Kluge looking to go back to the point. Trying to throw it in around the top side right. Dingler cut off and nowhere to go. Brandon Kluge with a huge attempt to get around the outside of Dingler coming into 3 and 4. He'll blitz around him coming through turn number 3. And now goes to the over-under from the race lead down to the turn 1. Dingler tried to cut back, couldn't make it work, and put Brandon Kluge back to the point. Try as he may, Spencer Ray unable to get back to the inside of the 69. So Kluge, Ray, Dingler, Morton, and Thrower all packed up line of stern. Thrower and Morton, 2 out of their drivers on fresh rubber, trying to cut through the top 3. They are the only 2 drivers able to go after Brandon Kluge. Morton with an aggressive lunge to the inside of turn 2. And Hunter Thrower trying to follow suit. Cuts down low. And now, the top 3 dominated by fresh tire runners. The problem is it's one less set to be used later down the line. So now it's a strategy game, and they have to hope now that they're not going to run out of tires with an inopportune caution towards the end of this race. And Thrower starting to apply some pressure for second. He tried to go for the lunge out of 2. Couldn't go for it. Zachary Kreiser still putting Teft down positions as Gabe Teft to slide to 8th now. So the outside pole sitter on a backslide at the moment as the 33 has been hemorrhaging positions since the restart down to the 8th spot, and now just trying to maintain some ground for that 33, see if he can't gather himself up and go back at it down the road. Still a long way to go, though. We are not even a third of the way into racing action here tonight from Rockingham. And even further behind, 5-car train. Peterson, Shiflett, Rainwater, Purcell, and Rucker all packed up line astern. The midfield battles have been going strong, and I think that's one thing that's important to know, that all of these guys have been switching and swapping positions while we were watching that battle for the lead heat up. Purcell gonna cut low, trying to get around Rainwater. Don't think there's a hole, though, to make that work, and Purcell forced to tuck in line for now. It's pretty clear, though, that not going to take this one lying down as now Brett Rucker gets to the inside. These guys started to condense with one another, and it's causing a bit of a traffic jam. And it's all headed up by Nathan Shiflett, who's now under fire by Noah Rainwater. Rucker in hot into turn one. Forces Shiflett way up and wide. The 15 doing a good job going evasive and reading to that situation as Brett Rucker took that one deep into turn one. Purcell and the 19. Maxwell Kroll also packed up line astern. Brett Rucker this time taking a few more liberties with that brake pedal to ensure he doesn't overshoot turn one a second time. Attack all you want, but for now, these battles looking like this is how they're going to lay. The 19 going to get back to the inside of Shiflett, and could this be a completed pass this time? May very well just be, as the 19 ahead at the entrance of 3. Look at how close, though, Shiflett gets to that outside wall. Trying to rip the lip, as they say. Down behind, Rob Peterson sideways, half will clip the outside wall. Again, more drivers start to struggle on the older rubber in particular. As can always be expected, though, the racing action tonight has been absolutely phenomenal. The OMSRL Truck Series never failing to put on a good show on Tuesday nights. Right now is the biggest battle cluster we've got on the racetrack, from about 12th on back. Simply reeling in Stefan Purcell as well, as Purcell finally had enough of waiting around. He'll look to the inside of Shiflett and poke around him for 12. Look at the cluster, though, that is working off in the corners. And keep in mind, Kroll, Rucker, and Brown all came down to pit road on the last run of pit stops. Shiflett has been holding them up this entire time. And that, I think, really does show how strong that outside line is if he can just manage to get the line down and pull around. Something that this 15 truck has been doing to absolute perfection all night long. And it's been upsetting a few of the drivers, you can tell. I mean, they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive in their movements, especially guys like Rucker and Kroll, who are desperate to get through before their tires fully burn off. Nathaniel Ames takes the 28 Silverado into pit road. Our first green flag pit stop of the night that we believe is a potential scheduled stop. Shiflett will be forced to let Brett Rucker through, and he might have to let the 26 of Noah Swafford go here as well. senior half still looking to duke it out with Addison Brown. Of course, Brown collected in that lap 1 melee coming through the tri-oval as they took the green flag. That caution, oh, hard into the backside of Kroll and nearly spin Brown around. Goodness gracious. Take a ride on board with Addison Brown here. This got hectic coming into turn 1. Just slammed into the back bumper there. I'm not sure where Brown thought Kroll was going to go. Take one more look at this one again. This is coming down into turn 1. Watch the 12. Gets in hot, noses into the back end of the 19. And that very easily could have been caution number 2. Well held. I don't even think Brown got the outside wall. Towards the race lead, Brandon Kluge and Bear Morton have remained within about half a second, but that gap starting to shrink as Morton really looking to run down Brandon Kluge. You wanted potentially Noah Rainwater up the road. Jason Lathan. You wonder if Jason Lathan up the road is having a hand to play in this. As Kluge trying to lap the driver of the 67, and they will both do so, coming through 1 and 2. I mean, about a 10th and a half gain on lap 53, 2/10 on 54, just over 10th on 55. That gap's been steadily closing in, but cashing is one thing, passing is very much another, especially at a track as demanding as Rockingham. And I'm not sure if Morton's got enough in the tank to be able to properly go for the lead. He's going to try to get to the inside. He'll pull alongside, and it's too little too late. Yellow flag is out, and it is for Robert Peterson up in turn 3. Second caution of the night at lap 57. And let's get a look back and find out what happened to the 97 car. Alongside No Rainwater, they just come together. Around will spin the Ford Motorcraft F-150 up the track. Whoa, the 26! Just barely escaping disaster. Well held as well, I want to point out, from Robert Peterson himself. Take a ride on board with him. Oh boy! Talk about a close shave, and this is on board with Rainwater, the driver that hooked the 97. Just runs into the back of him. There's no ifs or buts about it. My God, the 26 nearly getting run over. Jason Layton will be the lucky dog. And this will bring the whole pack into pit road. Kluge the first one in, and we'll see if he can lead them out as well. Curious how the field's going to shake out now that everybody's expected to be on the same set of tires. Bear Morton trying to best Kluge out of pit road, won't get there. And the 69 wins the race off pit road. He'll maintain the race lead. Kluge back onto the racetrack, and I want to get a look right on board with that 26 truck as well, because I cannot put emphasis on how tight that was on being able to make that work. Right on board with Noah Swafford here. See the spin and then locks it down. Watch how close this gets. Locked the brakes himself, and yikes! I think may have just barely nicked the left front, but not enough to actually damage the truck. talk about close encounters, and I mean, that is about as, about as close as it's going to get. Coming up on Green Flag TV tomorrow night, the Beer League makes its trip over to Tuscany as they'll be racing at the Mugello Circuit at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday night. Thursday night, we'll bring back the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series from Round 3 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway at 9:15. And then on Friday night, March 1st, the LTAC Cup Series will host their season finale, getting set to crown a champion. McGill just needs to have one more good performance, and he'll lock it all away at the Auto Club Speedway. Of course, TNGG and ASRL back at their regular times on Saturday and Sunday nights as well. And for those curious, our full March schedule was just posted earlier last night. So if you want to get a look on everything that's coming up over the month of March, we can just hop to our YouTube channel and click on the community page. It'll be right there, first post you see. A lot of action coming on up throughout the course of the month. The two biggest events being the VSCA Sports Car Championship, their third race of the 2024 campaign with the 12 Hours of Sebring. And then, of course, we welcome the Classic IndyCar Series for their 10th anniversary season with their opener at Circuit of the Americas. Bound to be an absolutely phenomenal show. Rainwater over in our YouTube chat wondering if he can go home. The answer is no. You have a race to run still, and you're on the lead lap. I'd hop to it. He'll restart in 9th. Green flag's back out, just shy of halfway. We're back to green. Whoa, Morton with an aggressive jump to the inside. May have spun the tires just a little bit off the restart. Hunter Thor will tuck in line for third as Cluj try to fend off the 9. All for naught, though, perhaps, as Bear Morton will continue to duke it out side by side for the lead into turn 1. Cluj getting way up to the outside wall, clears from the 9, and he'll get back down in line. So Cluj pulls ahead, leads another lap. There's a bit of archibald going out of the back end. Matt Cherry back into the outside wall again on a hard hit. And that time, the 39 had to scramble to the inside as well. So Kreischer having seen better days as he is trying to keep Stefan Purcell behind him. Along with Robert Dickinson in a whole other battle pack. Up the front, Gage Teft still fighting with Spencer Ray as well. That a battle that will look to quickly signal itself out. Trouble front straightaway, Keith Hanlon around, and he'll force caution number 3. In fact, there have been 2 separate incidents as Noah Swafford around as well. Big damage to the front end of Swafford's truck as that thing, oh yeah, I have a feeling there was more Swafford than anyone as that front hood is gone. We'll take another look back and we'll focus in on Noah Swafford here. He and Keith Hanlon, looks like they may have had it coming together. This is Swafford. Hanlon spinning up the road in front, so already in progress of the 55. The 26 breaks loose and, oh man! Faced first into the sand barrels. Rebounds that truck back out to the racetrack. No wonder we saw Swafford with a difficult drive. Keith Hanlon had a pretty good save, and then this is at speed. That is a violent, violent impact, and we'll take a ride on board as well. You'll see Keith Hanlon break loose up the road as well. Ouch. That's not pleasant. That is about as clear of a cause for caution though as ever, so yellow flag number 3. We are now past the halfway mark. Brandon Cluj leads the way. We'll be back in a moment on Green Flag TV. Turning lap 69, they're about to take that marker over to 51 laps to go as we are working into the second half of this race after a very violent impact into the pit barrels for Noah Swafford, taking the 26 truck out of the race. As it stands, you've got, out of the initial 25 that started, you've only got 23 that are left. And out of those 23, 21 remain on the lead lap. Nathan Shiflett got the lucky dog free pass last time by, after things went awry on the last brief green flag run, however brief it may have been. Cluj with the lead, and once again opting for the outside line, just like Gage Teff did at the end of yellow flag number 1. Green flag is back in the air as we hop back to it. Cluj looking to drive around at the top, but Bear Morton has something to say about that down from the inside. It's been the Cluj and Morton show up at the front of the field for most of this race. And looking like once again, Cluj will win the battle. Still has yet to win the war though. Check back in a little bit deeper in the pack. Drivers like Matt Cherry and Noah Rainwater still trying to slice their way back to the front. Noise losing the back end for a brief moment. He'll scramble to the inside, wrangle the 3 back underneath him. Now Noah Rainwater trying to duke it out with Gage Teff, but Teff looking to fly around the top shelf. Brandon Cluj with the fastest lap of the race last time by puts down a 24.3, or 24.29 to be exact. That is the fastest lap he has had so far of the entire race. Good show then for Cluj, showing that he has got a lot of pace still underneath that 69 Silverado. Single file out all the way around, and I have to say, I think this has been one of the most contained restarts we have had all night long. Still some side-by-side battles here and there, like Gage Teff still trying to hang on to whatever spots he can muster. Now duking it out with Matt Cherry. Oh, and contact between the two. Cherry bobbles out and slides down just a moment, and that will cost both of them about a 10th, up to Spencer Ray, running 5th. Thrower, Dingler, Ray. A bit close for 3rd, and Dingler thinking about going for an attack down through the front straightaway and approaching turn 1. Looking high, looking low, trying to find a way around. Sends that one in deep. And put Dingler into the podium. As Thrower, whoa, look out, Ray! Braking sideways, throwing up some tire smoke in 2. And again, somehow just getting that truck underneath him. My gosh. A lot of wheel work going into recovering the number 6. Take a ride on board with him on what was a wild ride exiting 2. Yo! Snapping the back end out and just able to get that thing back underneath him. And now Thrower loses momentum out of 4. He'll give it up for 10th and 4. Then Ray will punch him out of the top 5. So Thrower thought he might be contending for a podium for too long. All of a sudden can't even crack into those top 5 positions. Has Thrower used his equipment up early on, or is this just a temporary loss of momentum? Still fighting at the outside of Spencer Ray, and I think he may have just been able to recover it there. So Thrower will get in line behind Ray, and will now try to reset and duke it out all over again. Meanwhile, further in the back, Keith Hamlin headed up a train with Maxwell Kroll, Nathan Shibla, Justin Wilson, Taft, Addison, Brown, and Rucker. So battles up and down all around the racetrack. Oh, contact! Wilson hard into the outside wall. Big trouble for the 09 as he'll tag the outside. No caution. We'll keep it green. But a big moment working the backstretch. Take a ride on board. Wilson just tagged him all once, then twice. Got into Shiflett and then nosed that thing back into the wall. Up the road, the 15 and the 19 started to duke it out. So Nathan Shiflett not quite done battling yet as Maxwell Kroll looking to get into the fray. Just so you think we've had enough, they say, no sir, we're ready to go at it again. A lot of the battle started to single file out as things are tapering off for the moment. Everyone's settling slowly but surely into their rhythms. I'm sure something's going to kick off now that I've said that. And sure enough, towards the back, Addison Brown trying to get around Maxwell Kroll as the 19 truck way up the track, and Brown lunging for the inside, secures the spot, drifts up in front of the 19 to keep him from getting the over-under down to turn one through the tri-oval. And Justin Wilson still damaged from that scrape with the outside wall. Trying to run down Kroll as well, looking for the bottom lane as the 09 going to go for it. And how about that? I mean, the 19 truck making some good ground. Oh, and Wilson to the outside wall again. You heard the crunch as he scraped along it, but that's actually going to help him out here. Carrying some of that momentum down to the inside and tries to pick off Kroll again. And this time gets it done. Good show for Wilson. Thought he was down and out of it. Gets back into the fray. Spencer Ray, meanwhile, also in a battle of his own. He'll look to get around Gage Taft for fourth. And it doesn't look like Gage Taft, well, it's hard to tell what Gage Taft is doing, but I think Ray will take that without too much of a fuss. And then the battle for second between Dingler and Morton, a battle that is allowing for Brandon Kluge to continue his charge at the front. Dingler breaks clear for second as Morton falls back to third. And now the Hornets' Nest returns. Purcell, Peterson, Noyes, Kreischer, Vandehey. All under a blanket, all within camera shot. As Jacob Noyes tracks up from the bottom, Zachary Kreischer up against the outside wall with Robert Peterson. The outside's been a great defensive line, but that inside, if you know how to work it, it can just eke out the gap from above. Peterson gets clear, Jacob Noyes, and now Kreischer going to try to lunge around the outside as well. Oh, and they're going to get into each other a little bit, and that stacks up the 53 of Brent Vandehey. Noyes finally gets clear, and the 53 truck takes it down low. It's a great show that these guys have been putting on from the get-go. We're about to enter the final quarter of this race, so pressure is on. It's crunch time. I still think we might have one more caution in us here at the end of the night. And Stefan Purcell looking low, trying to get around Robert Peterson. Jacob Noyes getting in there as well. Brett Vandehey, Zachary Kreiser, Keith Handlin. Oh, in contact into the back of Purcell. Noyes and Purcell up the track. Vandehey sweeps through into 10th. And after a tense moment, they'll, well, not single it out, but they'll certainly calm it down. Brett Rucker slow on the racetrack, and Rucker going to try to come to pit road. Nearly lose the back bumper, and in fact, going to stay out on the racetrack, missed the entry mark. Jacob Noyes finally gets around Purcell. Oh man, but Kreiser off the wall, and again, nearly rebounds right down to the Vandehey. Right on board with Noyes, as he is just going to absolutely send Stefan Purcell here in turn 1. Gets in way hot. Oh, sorry. I thought Noyes sent it in, but he did not. Robert Peterson lost that back end all on his own. And Stefan's still on the backslide now, as Vandehey and Kreiser both looking for the inside. And, well, Zachary Kreiser thought about 3 wide for a moment. Decided against it. Gosh, it's a good scrap that we got going here. It's not the only one, though. Ryan Dingler has caught Brandon Kluge and is now ready to pounce. The gaps have been steadily coming down, and now Ryan Dingler to the inside, picks off Brandon Kluge. Ryan Dingler finally topples the 69 truck and put the 23 to the point. Ryan Dingler up in the front will be able to get a look back to the scrap for 11th on down. And this has been an absolutely brutal fight so far. These drivers have been showing no quarter so far. As now trying for 3. Vandehey on the bottom. Handler's going to go in the middle. And Purcell on the top. Vandehey, though, forced to yield from the inside. Couldn't get the lunge down. Now Keith Handlin jumping to the inside. It's been a long time since I've seen this much side-by-side racing at Rockingham. A lot of races I call here in the past have had a tendency to single file out pretty quickly. But I mean, this racing tonight has been absolutely epic. Battle on for second as Spencer Ray will put Kluge down a spot. So Brandon Kluge has burned up his stuff, and now he's just in survival mode. Nathaniel Ames trying to work his way through this battle pack. Now Ames is on fresh tires. He came down to pit road on lap 88 about 12 laps ago. He's going to be mired to stay behind this field for now, as oh, that's tight coming off of 4. Vandehey nearly squeezed in Purcell and nearly turned it himself across the nose. Longest green flag run so far tonight, and I have to say definitely the most exciting green flag run of the bunch. Brett Rucker takes it to pit road and will probably drop out of the top 20. Vandenhay finally breaks clear of Purcell, but Zachary Kreischer and Nathan Shiflett not so lucky. They got to continue to work with it. Meanwhile, Kluge, Morton, and Thrower battle for third, started to pick up as well. Haven't talked about the front runners too much lately, so we'll focus our efforts back up to the top three. Well, the final spot within the top three that's starting to close in. Look out as Bear Morton and Hunter Thrower breaking the back end out. Thrower with a little bit of that target fixation that can so often catch even the best of drivers out. I mean, this has been a pretty wild race, all things considered, as now Hunter Thrower trying to look to the outside of Bear Morton and go for a move. As Thrower sets up the pass, trying to get around Brandon Kluge and punches, take it into third. And he's done it. Thrower onto the podium, and Morton trying to follow suit. Gets around Bear Morton, but already look at how much Hunter Thrower's been able to pull away. No contest for now as Thrower is cleared up into third. Morton into the outside wall. Let Kluge back to the bottom. And now Gage Teff starting to reel this gap back in. So a four-way scrap now for the number 4 spot. With less than 20 laps left to go, it's getting down to it. Gage Teff gonna lunge around the outside as Kluge continues his backslide into 6th. And now Bear Morton under fire as Teff will take that run down to the bottom, and he might, slides up and just cannot get around Bear Morton, but boy, he tried. Let Kluge fight back to the top side. Kluge battling around the top. Matt Cherry goes with him around the outside of 3 and 4. And Teff stays situated in the number 7 spot. Just like the big battle with Purcell and Moore, we've got another train started to form up, and Kluge and Morton both heading the way. Morton maintaining his good momentum run to stay clear. Kluge, Cherry, Teff, and Rainwater. The next driver's in the fray. Morton scrambles. Kluge will get back to the inside, and now Kluge back in the 4th. Watches up in front of the 9. Morton not going to take that line down. Jumps to the inside off of the slider. I mean, I cannot tell you how thrilling this battle has been throughout the course of this race. I mean, this has been... Oh, contact! Morton goes around, spins to the inside line, noses it into the inside wall. No caution yet, and we won't get one as he's too far down the racetrack. So we stay green, but big problems for Barrett Morton. Oh, dear. It all comes to blows on the back straightaway. Take a look at this as Morton going to check up a little bit out of 2 and just gets hit by Matt Cherry. Noses that truck into the inside wall. On board to the 45. Yeah, just slowed up enough and Cherry could not check up. Put one of the big contenders for a top 5 position down and out of the fray. 10 laps still remain. My big question for the leaders right now, can Dingler hang on against Spencer Ray? Ray has been turning up the wing. Last lap by, closed in a tenth and a half. So this battle for the lead with 9 to go is not over. And it might only be a matter of time before we see this battle for the lead recommence. Jumping back to Peterson, Tefton, Hanlon for 7th, 8th, and 9th. As Robert Peterson up the road, starting to pull away from this, from the duo behind. But TK Payne Silverado of Keith Hanlon still trying to get around to the inside as well. To pick off 33, and he'll get to the inside down the front stretch with 8 to go. But it's not enough to clear. Kluge still under fire as he's trying to keep Noah Rainwater at bay, and in a lap traffic trying to get through and unlap themselves as well. Rainwater gets it, and Kluge into the outside wall! Oh, do they save it? Just barely they do. Rainwater punting Kluge into the outside fence though. Tell you what, they just cannot catch a break right on board of the 69 truck. As there's the hit from the inside. How they did it not spin around is beyond me. And Ray's caught Dingler. 5 to go. And the battle for the lead is on. Spencer Ray to the inside. Dingler tried to block. He'll keep it to the top side of the racetrack. Now it's a game of who can outlast the other. Dingler on defense, trying to see if he can't keep Ray at bay. He's got to do it for 4 laps, though. That's a long time to keep that charging 6 truck behind. On board with Spencer Ray, the driver out of Rolla, Missouri, trying to run down Dingler. Couldn't get him with 5 to go, so he's going to have to wait and set this one up. Trying to close that gap back down. 3 to go. All the while, the battles for 4th and 5th on back continuing to escalate as Matt Cherry now trying to break into the top 5. Kluge working it in as well for Ryan Dingler. He's in a 3 and 4. Lap traffic in front with 2 to go. There's been a lot of thrilling finishes as of late on Green Flag TV, and we're in for another. Oh, nearly into the back bumper of Justin Wilson as Dingler cuts down low. Spencer Ray follows him in, couldn't make the move into 3. 1 lap to go and 1 chance for Ray to make the pass. Side by side, out of turn number 4, they take the white flag. Final trip around this 1 mile oval. Dingler up to the top. Ray giving it his all down on the bottom. Final lap, bro. Wilson strikes the outside wall, and Spencer Ray forced to back out. trying to send that one deep around the top side, but it's too little too late. Ryan Dingler will hang on to win at Rockingham. What a harebrained finish. Battle's still on further down the field as Kluge trying to get around Robert Peterson. A drag race at the stripe, and I think Kluge just clings on for 7th by a handful of thou. And Dingler way low on the racetrack in turn number 3, able to secure a win. What an effort, though, from the 23 after a hard-fought race. Dingler showing that he is not yet out of this fight for a title. And now, he gets to burn it down on the front straightaway. Dingler entered this race 4th in the point standings, 7 points behind Spencer Ray. I'm not sure if it's enough to overtake him for the points lead, but it'll definitely be enough to reel in the gap. We'll take a rundown of the official post-race results here tonight. After an absolutely wild evening of racing, I think that has got to be one of the best races I have ever seen at the Rockingham Speedway on iRacing. Take a look at this as Ryan Dingler hangs on from Spencer Ray by just under a 1/10 of a second, coming to the wire after a thrilling battle in the final 5 laps. Hunter Thrower takes it up in 3rd with Noah Rainwater in 4th. Matt Cherry will round out the top 5. Keith Handel was in 6th with Brandon Kluge just outlasting Robert Peterson by 9,000 of a second for 7th. Jacob Noyes was in 9th. Gage Teff rounded out the top 10. Brent Van de Hey, Nathan Shiflett, Barrett Morton, Zachary Kreis, and Daniel Haff were the last trucks on the lead lap. Justin Wilson, Stephen Purcell, Addison Brown, Maxwell Kroll, Brett Rucker, Nathaniel Ames, and Austin McColgan all finishing laps down, with Jason Lathan, Noah Swafford, and Sean Kaiser all putting it into the used truck lot for the weekend. An absolutely insane night of racing then for us here in this one, and we'll get the chance to talk to everybody here at the end of such a wild night. It was a hard-fought race for all involved, and we'll get the chance to get in touch here now with Ryan Dingler, a driver that hangs on and takes a hard-fought race win, but only just. Ryan, holy cow, what a battle there in the final 10 laps with Spencer Ray. Walk us through it.
I noticed everyone had kind of been burning their tires up. I was actually, for once, I really did well at saving mine, running that yellow line at the bottom. People running the top, I knew they'd burn them up. And I ran Kluge and Barrett down there at the that last caution, or after that last caution. And there towards the end, I noticed Spencer was catching me. I was watching my relative, so obviously he had saved a little better than I have, but I was really kind of timing it down to where it'd be close at the end, try not to burn myself up, trying to, get away from him. And it was really close. He had caught me, but I really started blocking when he got to me. So, which I really was just taking the lane away. I wasn't really going to make it so bad that I'd wreck him, but I was going to at least take the air off his nose as much as I could and make him at least earn that win if he, passed me. So, but man, that was that was so much fun.
We talked about a little bit earlier about how there was some anticipation that this might be a caution-filled race coming in tonight, but I think it was only 3 was the final count on the night, and a lot of green flag runs that did allow for a lot of this strategy to pan on out. Not enough for green flag pit stops, but still enough that, as you rightly put, managing tires was ever so important. How did the cautions fall to affect that strategy throughout the race?
Well, I knew that we could technically make it on one stop the entire race, so tires would absolutely be a factor. So that first caution came out, I was going to do whatever the leaders did, though I really didn't want to take tires because it had only been 20 laps. So they stayed out, we all stayed out. Then we had those guys on fresh tires, kind of cycled through, and they were in the lead. And I was like, I'm not that worried about it because, they're going to be one set short if we happen to need them. And then we had that caution. They went ahead and got their second set anyway. So it was just a matter from then on to just save my tires and get back around them because they had cycled back to the front. And it worked out. So,
of course, looking forward now into the championship as a whole, obviously with McGill and Grant Peterson both looking like they may very well be out for the rest of the season. Could we see that 23 truck make a serious play for the title?
Without Holden here, I'm going to sure try. I don't know. Spencer's really hard to beat. He's really fast at a lot of tracks. So I was happy to beat him tonight. But we'll see. I'll try.
Well, sounds like a plan. We'll let you get back to celebrating. Congratulations on taking that race win tonight at Rockingham. I know this one did not come easy. We'll see if you can double it up next week.
Yes, sir. I'll certainly try.
Ryan Tinkler joining us up here out of Liberty, Alabama, taking it home in victory lane tonight. We'll run down to Spencer Ray, the driver that finishes in the number 2 spot here at the end of the night. And, Spencer, so close to taking a race win of that one. I know you've had a lot of success here at Rockingham in the past. Second place, still a podium, still a phenomenal finish. But you reckon you have another lap or two. Would you have gotten him?
Maybe. I don't know. His lap cars kind of got in the way there at the end. But that was a lot of fun.
So I've heard. I know it must have been fun down at the racetrack. It's a track that's very difficult to pass at. So when you get a moment like that where you get to battle it out so much, it ups that level of intensity. How much concentration do you really have to put in to make sure that you have to race both the track around you and everybody else that's on it as well?
Just got to make sure you don't slide up into the guy next to you, really. And then hope the lap cars run their line. That's about all you can do.
Points gap today, when it was at least when it was entering the day, the top 7 separated by less than 10 points. It was 7 between yourself and Spencer Ray. That gap between you and Dingler, going to have closed in a lot after tonight. What are you going to have to do to see if you can hang on to that points lead coming into the next race?
Beat him next week, I guess.
Well, we'll see if you can fire another shot across the bow. But for now, congratulations on the number 2 spot, and we'll see you next week then.
Yep.
Spencer Ray joining us up here from the number 2 spot on the podium. And that'll take us down to Hunter Thrower, a driver that finishes in a pretty lonely 3rd place. Hunter, of course, haven't talked to you up here in a good long while, but good to finally get the chance to talk to you again. Welcome back, first of all, to OMSRL. I know there's been a few weeks where we haven't seen that Exalta 83, but it's good to see you back in action and good to see that truck still has form. Kind of talk about the strategy of this race, though, and how you were able to pick up spots to make up 3rd.
Yeah, this was a tough race, but thank you for having me on again. This was a tough one. It really bites you, especially the bumpiness of the track. It eats up your tires. So that was pretty much the main strategy throughout the whole race, I think, for most people, was trying to who could save tires the best. But yeah, the early part of the stage, like the whole race, I could not save tires. I was struggling to figure it out. But the All-American RD Designs boys brought me a good Chevy truck here today, and that was a pretty good last stint there, I gotta say. I'm pretty proud of myself how I saved those tires. That felt like we had a 10th place truck, I think, right off the bat, coming off the truck, and to come away with a top 3, because I haven't had a top 3 or top 5 in a while, so that was pretty fun.
Overall, in terms of the championship, it's looking like it's going to be a rather compelling points battle throughout the course of the season. Just trying to pull up my notes here again so I can track kind of where things are at after tonight. I know, in particular for you, you were already looking to be a bit further down the points boards. I know you haven't made the most amount of races. Are we going to be seeing that 83 truck back in action, though, later on in the year?
Yeah, I hope so. I was unfortunate to miss the 2 races, I think, so far this season, but I I'm looking to get in form. I feel like we're getting a little bit faster, and hopefully we can make up some points. Do we have enough time to make it to the chase? It's going to be tough because we got so many good drivers in this league, and it's gotten tougher over the years. And it'll be a hard fight to make up for the lost races, but we'll try our best and get those good finishes.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about a chance to make up a lot of spots. One of those chances coming on up is at Martinsville, a track where you and I both know with experience a lot can happen at the world's fastest paperclip. But while there's a lot to be gained, there's a lot to be lost as well. What's going to be the strategy coming into Virginia?
Do not spin your tires, I feel. That's a big thing on Martinsville, and I've learned from it. I've been hurt from it. That's on restarts and just on fresh tires, old tires. It's just coming out of the corners. It can really bite you. But, yeah, saving tires is the name of the game, but mostly just rotating the truck at Martinsville mid-quarter. That's how people get it done. It's going to be some bumping and banging, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we'll hopefully see that truck back up onto the podium, and who knows, we may be talking to you again at the end of next week. Congratulations on the 3rd place. Hopefully, it's the start of a streak.
Thank you so much.
That was Hunter Thoreau joining us up here for the drive at Zebulon, North Carolina, and that is going to be just about everything, but my goodness, what an absolutely wild night of racing it was. And I mean, full-on, complete action from start to finish. Never a dull moment in the race that we had here tonight, and I think could not have asked for a better way. It's been a while since I've gotten to call a race at the Rock, and a good way as ever to welcome the track back onto Green Flag TV. I mean, this race, definitely one of the best races I've ever had the pleasure of being able to call from a racetrack like this. Coming on up throughout the week on Green Flag TV, of course, the Beer League will once again return to Magello's. Well, it'll make its first run to the Magello circuit, return to Italy for the Beer League on Wednesday night. The Speed Tires Plus Cup Series swings out to Sin City, racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Thursday night. On Friday, the LTAC Cup Series will close out its 21-race season with the finale at the Auto Club Speedway for 200 miles. The TNGGIL Truck Series will run out at the old version of Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old 2008 rendition. That'll be on Saturday night. And then on Sunday night, the American Sim Racing League is once again back in full force for some good old down and dirty dirt track racing at the Lernerville Speedway. That and so much more coming on up on Green Flag TV. So, of course, if you want to check out our March schedule, it is posted on our YouTube channel. You can find that in the community tab of the page. But that's all for us for one night. My name is Noel Rumpel. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week when we go racing at the Paperclip.